Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Sasha Shine Bright. She is a astrologer and numerologist, and she has been doing that since 2018. And more will learn directly from you. Welcome to the show, Sasha.
Thank you very much for having me, Ajay. I'm really grateful to be here. And yeah, how can I be helpful? What can I share with you and with all your beautiful people?
Absolutely. Welcome to the show, Sasha. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll be learning from you about astrology, about ourselves, how astrology can help us in our career as well as relationship. We'll learn all about this. But before that, let's learn a bit more about you, about your journey, about your background, so that people know who they are listening to.
I will try to make it quick. So, for a very long time, I was a photographer actually, and I was thriving. The life was kind of like blossoming. The only problem, I wasn't happy. Yeah, everything was going well, but I couldn't find the meaning of my life. I was like, okay, I can do anything, I can earn a lot of money, but it doesn't make me happy. And after a while, I came to the point when I didn't see a good reason to get up from my bed because, like, why? So I started looking for the answers, like, what is the meaning of my life? And that brought me to different practices, and among those was astrology, because I was desperately seeking for the meaning of my life. The first touch with astrology was actually a consultation with Vedic astrologer, and he was very quick. So the question was, what is the meaning of my life? And he was like, serving other people. And I was like, yeah, I kind of expected something deeper. When we come, we expect that people will explain like this and this. You're meant to be this and this. I was like, yeah, okay, doesn't really resonate with me, but let's see. So step by step, I came to the idea that I need to study it myself, especially because later I will understand the period changed. But at the moment, the whole life started ruining. So what was working previously wasn't working anymore. My photography business wasn't running as good as previously. Yeah. And I had to start something new. I had to look for the answers, and I was like, okay, yeah, maybe astrology will give those. So the more I was digging, the more I was studying, the more I realized that serving was actually a great answer. But for that, I really had to obtain knowledges to understand what is the way I could serve people. And through knowledge, through studying myself, through studying my, first of all, dark sides, because our evolution, our growth, it starts from seeing what you are actually not good at. Yeah. Seeing something what you need to transform within you, and then you start growing and become a better and happier version of yourself. So it took time, it's a journey, but astrology highlighted and gave me solutions, what I can do with my dark sides and how I can rely on my strong sides to actually go through my life. And remember, I said the period changed. It's a long one. It lasts for like 18 years, so I'm only halfway through. And it was very tough in the beginning. And sometimes it is still tough, but all the knowledges, they help me understand how to navigate it with wisdom, with happiness, to find this happiness on everyday basis and continue living a life of a decent person, sharing my gratitude and my knowledge with people around. So that's a very short version.
Absolutely, Sasha. To understand it better, uh, nowadays, more and more people in the Western world outside. Earlier, it's a part of India. We have been, culturally, people believe in these things a lot. Many believe, some people do not. Everyone has their own way of looking at it, and it's fine. But by and large, people understand or know about astrology in this part of the world. Astrology and numerology, both. But in the outside world, suddenly I see a lot of people talking about astrology in the Western world, especially, and I want to understand, where does astrology uh, stand today? Has it come out of the ice box now, and that people are beginning to understand astrology better, and now looking at it much more, rather than something which they do not know anything about? Now they are looking at it from more from a science point of view. Help us understand as an astrologer.
Oh, that's a tough question, I would say, because I think there are always, and there always were, people who were interested in this kind of practices. Because naturally, if you have placements, like very strong placements that influence your personality in Scorpio, in Pisces, in Aquarius, such people, they are naturally drawn to these kind of knowledges and these kind of practices. So they're technically drawn to uncover what is hidden, or to philosophies. Yeah, and these people, they were always right. It's not that they were started burning only nowadays, but I think just because nowadays people are talking a lot, and let's be honest, yeah, for the last like probably 5 years, people started talking so much. So obviously, because some are so interested, they started bringing it a lot to the public. And maybe like last 10 years, because when I was a child, for example, the only way to interact with things was TV and radio. And like, of course, only small amount of programs was dedicated, because you see, among like other placements, is just like three predominant signs that would be drawn to it. And usually, when you like create a show or something, you try to catch the major audience. But nowadays, everyone is allowed to have their own show, to speak up, to uncover topics they are interested in. And I think this freedom, it gave possibility to people share their interests, and among those happened to be astrology and all these esoterical practices. That's why we hear about it more, because of this freedom of self-expression.
Absolutely, freedom of self expression. So, coming to astrology, how does it work actually for a common person? How would you like to help them understand? They know, people have heard about it, they think it, whether to trust it or not trust it, believe in it or not. But it would all depend on how you explain it to them. How do you explain to those people who want to know about astrology? Someone who wants to know and someone who does not believe in it. How do you tackle those situations?
Mhm. For skeptical people right now, I probably wouldn't be able to convince them anyhow, because you need to have a personal experience, like a little touch. When you actually see your chart, you see your placements. Actually, you can create your chart, it's very easy. And when you see those placements, and when you start um, like seeing what are the explanations from there, and you see that it's relatable, that could make you open up a little bit. And why I'm talking about the chart, because most people, they are thinking about themselves as their sun sign, something what is written in the journals, like in magazines, in horoscopes and stuff. And unfortunately, for most of people, this sun sign wouldn't be the accurate one. I would say 70% wouldn't really resonate with it fully. And like, yes, as the person with Indian background, I think you know that, because in Vedic astrology, we rely on the precise placements, and precise placements, they actually differ a little bit from what Western astrology brings. And Western astrology, it relies on tropical zodiac system, and it has fixed dates. The only problem, those dates were accurate 2000 years ago. And to create your accurate chart, you need to use the system that has this very specific coefficient. I'm not going to dive like super deep into topic because it's like really for those who is super curious. But like, yeah, the thing is Vedic astrology, it relies on accurate data. It's called sidereal zodiac science, yeah, and zodiac system. And there, when people discover their charts through Vedic system, they're like, oh, okay, now it starts making sense. And this is a big problem. And I feel like as an astrologer, I need to spend time to raise this awareness because you, first of all, not your sun sign only. Secondly, most of people, they are mistaken about their sun sign, and that's why when they try to interact with astrology, with Western astrology, they cannot resonate with it, and they say like, oh, it doesn't work. But I would say it's this coefficient that is missing in this tropical system. Yeah, but when you use it properly, when you use the tool as it's meant to be, based on accurate data, then you start seeing that it is actually very helpful. And the thing is, okay, now it might be a little bit strange for people who are like very precise. And I need to say, before working as an astrologer, I actually studied as an engineer and I have a very logical mind. So for me, I really wanted to understand how it works. But in our world, there are things that a little bit unexplainable. We just have to feel them. We just have to believe in those because you cannot touch them. There are things you cannot touch. And like, yeah, through experience, through trying it again and again, you kind of start, for example, gravitation. You cannot touch gravitation. But at the same time, yeah, somehow we walk on Earth and we don't fly out to the space. So yeah, there is this thing and there is a formula, but you cannot touch it. You cannot see it. Yeah, it's experience. You see that it is happening. And when you put someone into low gravity, so they start like moving differently. So through experience. Same happens with astrology. Astrology describes the world through 9 energies. And we know that energies are all around us, but we cannot touch them. But each energy, it has own definition, own description, own qualities. So we have these 9 energies, and the biggest concentration is in planets. And that's why those planets, they influence us when they move. But not just those rocks in the sky, those energies, they influence us. And this is the part when we just have to trust it and really try through experience. And for me in the beginning, I was like, okay, that's very interesting, but um, I have to see how it works. And only through experience of like consulting thousands of people, when comes the person who I have never ever seen in my life, and I start describing their life, their qualities and everything, I was like, okay, yeah. And they look at me with such huge eyes, like, oh, how do you know? It's like, it's in your chart. So like in the beginning, I was very like scared because like what if it doesn't work, what if I tell something wrong? But the more it was happening and every time it was confirming and confirming and confirming, so that made me believe that the tool works only from experience, not because I just believe it. But like, yeah, as I said, maybe from starting like very basic studying and like trying to apply it to your own life, and you start seeing that it works, and then you're like, okay, I see how it works, and then you can dig deeper and really benefit from this knowledge.
Absolutely, absolutely, Sasha. So, is astrology about the past or is it about our future? How should we understand? A lot of people want to know about, especially about two, three things. One is about, career, and also career including money and all. And second thing is about relationships. How would you like to, tell us about these aspects? How should people make the best of astrology for these two areas of their lives?
Mhm. Yeah, so basically astrology, it covers everything, yeah? So it's not only about past or present or future, it all together. So basically our chart, it's a representation of our karma that we earned in the previous life. So in the previous life, we had some experiences, we got some skills, Yeah, some connections and stuff. So all this is represented in our birth chart. So this is what we came with. It's kind of like our luggage. And with that, it also shows the tendency for our nowadays life, for the life we are having right now. So it kind of shows major events. And in this way, we would say it shows our future, because we have our static chart. So, like, we see what are the tendencies, but we also have periods, and we see how these events will be unfolding through time. The best thing is that astrology doesn't just tell you this is going to be like this and that's it. Astrology, first of all, tells you that you can make a change. So this is where you start from. This is your like basic way of living this life. But if you want to make it different, so here are gazillion of tips for you how to do that. So astrology offers us solutions how we can change our lives. Yeah. In terms of career, for example, what happens a lot through my consulting practice is that very often people, they are limited in their mind with the idea what they can do, and very often people, they don't see their talents. When we're talking about talents, also very often people think that talent's supposed to be like dancing or singing or something like this, and they never look at talent. For example, being an accountant, it's a talent. Not everyone is able to, like, deal with all these numbers and stuff. And like, yeah, some people, they love to do this, like work with numbers, and it's a talent. Yeah. Or like other people, they are good with physical activities. Yeah, nowadays people became more drawn to looking good, so such people thrive. Yeah. But before, it may be like, yeah, they're good with physical activities, but like, for example, being a personal trainer, but before there was not so much use for it, and people felt like a little bit lost, like where they can um, insert them, because they don't want to do math, they don't want to do like languages, they're not artistic or something, they're good with physical things, like how to use it, where to use it. So very often people don't see their talents, and or they don't see them as talents, and they don't see the path, like how they can use it. If we have time, I could go through all 12 signs to give like a little hints about them, but if we don't, I will just skip to
Yeah, you
relation.
can. You can we have some time. No problem. We
We
can
have
go.
some time. Yeah, because we all are different. And again, like, I remind you, so for using this tip, probably let's stick to idea, rely to your moon sign, because this would be more accurate. Moon is responsible for our mind, our emotions. We have our moon chart. So if you know your moon sign, or at least like go and calculate somewhere online. Well, there is a great website for calculation. It's called Vedic-horo.com. So this one is very accurate, and I absolutely recommend to use it. It's like, it's no ad, it's just like the tool which is free and you can use to get your accurate chart. So then stick to your moon sign. You might be surprised that it's something different. But okay, so if it's Aries, it's if a present of Aries. So then, yeah, such people, they are actually those who good with physical activities. So any kind of like gym stuff here, something related to sports, being an athlete, or for example, using this power for protecting. So they could go to military, to police, to firefighting, like these kind of areas, because they're great. They can use their physique to make a difference in the world. For example, if we're talking about Taurus, they are drawn to beauty and like something what lasts for a long time, for some pleasure, enjoyment. And they could thrive, first of all, in like restaurant business. Yes, something related to food, or for example, in designing, like creating something beautiful. Yeah. Then, if we're talking about Gemini, so they're working with information. So social media is their area, or any kind of, like PR, or something like where, like any kind of like media market where you need to work with this information. Yeah. And then Cancers, they're great in hospitality because they truly care. And like, yeah, any kind of what is this, like hotel business or like accommodating people, or actually they're also great with kids, so any kind of professions related to like kids educative caring area, they are thriving there. Leos, they love to be in the spotlight. So again, like nowadays, social media, yeah, those bloggers who like, I'm here, look at me. Yeah, so Leos are great there. But not only, for them, they are great at any kind of careers where they need to be looked at. So like modeling, acting, so they love to be in the spotlight. But they also could do great in politics because it's also like when you have to influence a lot of people. So yeah, Leos are great influencers. Virgos, those are great at like digging into details. Like very often, like we would find Virgos doing accounting because they kind of like to sit and do these things, like yeah, like something stable, something practical, and like something what they like keep doing same thing but becoming better and better. But not only, actually Virgos can thrive in many careers, but we need to remember that they will dig so deep that they will become the best at their sphere. Like if you're going to a doctor and the doctor is a Virgo, then it's a jackpot because it's going to be the best doctor, like the one who like really knows what they're doing. So yeah, the next one, Libra. Those are also very creative, and those are like even like more like artistic. So usually like fashion designers, like jewelry designers, like any kind of this stuff, like singers, artists. So like more like of this creativity. So all of this kind of creative, like photographers, videographers, like very often they have a very strong presence of Libra. Yeah, then Scorpios, they are already prone to these kind of like esoteric things. They're good at psychology, like understanding people, picking people's minds. At the same time, they're good at politics as well, because it's also a little bit of picking people's mind and like seeing the trends and stuff. So like, yeah, but overall, they could also do great management because they see what's going on and they can like find good solutions. Sagittariuses, they are great at, you know, also ruling people, inspiring people. They are very enthusiastic, they're very optimistic, they have a piece of wisdom and advice, and they look at life that like, yeah, we will find this solution. So they great at building communities, at caring about people. So they would make great leaders which are actually thinking about their people. Leos will think about themselves more. Sagittarius will think about people. So yeah, Capricorns, they in general are great at working. So any kind of hard working with good salary, that's what works for Capricorn. They just good with this perseverance. So keep going no matter what. Usually they select rather running their own business. And sometimes it's tough, but like also they're great in like climbing the career ladder, because for them it's very understandable, it's something what they're good at. So payment good, so I'm ready to put all my efforts and make it work. Aquariuses, they are also very creative, and they're more this like philosophical people. Very often, I think among all Aquariuses, they struggle the most because they are lacking this confidence, and they often don't understand where to apply themselves. While in reality, they are very creative, so they have this very unusual way of thinking, and they often have this extravagant way of expressing themselves. And I see a lot of such people doing art as well, like being like artists, like writing something and stuff. But they could also dive into this like philosophy topics, into like charity organizations, because they feel it deeply. They're trying to find this meaning in life, so that's why they are prone to doing some charitable activities. And Pisces are the aliens of our zodiac circle, because those are like a little bit out of this world. They are also very creative, very romantic, very loving, but at the same time, they are great teachers, and they're great with all these spiritual things. When they start digging into, they make very great like yoga teachers. They're good with all these practices like nowadays, like breath works, um I don't know, like tarot, like all these kind of things, which are like nowadays, like sound healing, like these kind of things. So for them, it's like one of the most fruitful area to thrive with their careers.
Absolutely, absolutely,
What about
Sasha. That's a
you?
lot of yeah, a lot of good information that you have shared. One thing, I want to understand for the audience through your example that you talk about, how astrology helped you heal your relationship with your father. A lot of
Mhm.
people in today's life, people do not have good relations with so many people around them. How do they do that? How did you do it in your case?
Okay, so I will try to keep it quick, like short story, long story short. So, first of all, of course, when I started studying astrology, I was facing my own chart and I was facing my dark sides. And in my chart, I have an afflicted planet Sun. Okay, sun is a star, but in astrology, we call it planet for like any celestial body. And Sun is responsible for our father. It represents our father in the chart, and it represents also our ego. just
Okay.
to just to give a hint what kind of problems and struggles I had to overcome. So I really had to find my ego and learn how to deal with it, how to overcome it, and yeah, become a nicer, better version of myself. So with father, it was trouble from the childhood, and my father had problems in life. So he was an alcoholic for a long time, and he couldn't succeed in life. And like, yeah, it kind of created unhealthy tendencies in our relationships, and as well my perception of men in general, because like our father from the childhood, it's a representation of how a girl will see men. So when I started studying, first thing, of course, I was um, looking at this afflicted son, and I had to go through all the suggestions how I can fix it. And as I said, it's a journey, but the more I was digging in, and the part of it is also to fix your relationship with father. If before I was like, oh, I'm not going to talk with this person at all, and for you to understand, like my father wasn't talking to his father um for for a very long time. Yeah, like since he was around like 20 years old, he decided not to talk with his father, my grandfather. And they didn't even meet each other. My mom was bringing me to visit the family, but he was never there. He was never visiting. So it was like the tendency which was happening through generations. It was, yeah, very unhealthy. So then I looked into his chart. So how to fix relationship. I was studying his chart, and to fix something, to fix your relationship with the person, first thing you need to understand the person. You need to see the person for who one really is, not from your memories, not from your like traumatic experience, not from your projections and illusions. Because like, yeah, when like we still see like only one side of the story, our side. Yeah, we never think about the other side. So when I looked into his chart, and I saw that actually, first of all, we have a lot in common. Yeah, I saw how obvious was this tendency with his father. Yeah, and I saw that that's true. Apple never falls far from the tree. I saw that, like, yeah, I do have so many qualities that he has in his chart, but because I was already working on acceptance of myself, of who I am, and it allowed me to accept him for who he is. But with me, of course, I was able to make a change to become like real. For example, he has a lot of water element in his chart, and he is not a strong person. You know, he is very sensitive, and it's very easy to put him down, because like when some events are happening, he's not this like strong man who can persevere. No, he's that person who get like really touched, and he closes up and he hides at home. Like, yeah, that was a reason like why he started drinking, because he wasn't strong enough, and this was his way of coping with all these insecurities and pain. And like I saw that and I was like, wow, okay, but I see that in me as well, because this was my coping mechanism. It's like yeah, I was playing this victim card, and that's what I was changing through years. But like um so I was able to change mine, and I was able to accept him the way he is without trying to change him. And from this acceptance, I started feeling love towards him. I started seeing him for who he is and all this beauty, how actually with this sensitiveness, how supportive he actually is, how like this like caring and touchy and like this like very soft person he is. And I started remembering moments him showing that, because when we are like when we feel traumatized we only see the bad, but like when you start seeing it I was like yeah, well, but there were a lot of good things there as well. So it helped me see all these good sides, and I was like really channeling this love. And what happened, my father, he moved to the city where grandparents lived, and he healed his relationship with his father. So after years of not talking to each other, not seeing each other, they had 1 year of having like really a father-son relationship until grandfather passed away. So they really spent time like grandfather, he was teaching my father like some stuff, so they really had it like 1 year of amazing relationship. Yeah, my father, he got a new job. Like when he was planning to move, like immediately the job happened. So like yeah, everything like kind of like fall into places. And as a skeptical person, I was like, yeah, is it me who is healing now my generations, or is it just period that changed? And the period, it changed 3 years later. So he was still going through a tough phase, but because I was working from my side on this sun energy, and sun energy, it represents like all the male figures in your life, like in your family. So they had this chance to live amazing time together. And I was like, wow, okay, that's powerful, that's really powerful. So this was the story pretty much.
Wonderful. There's much to learn about all these things from you, Sasha, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to learn more about astrology, about numerology from you. So, for those people who would want to know more about all these things from you, get your services, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
Well, I have Instagram and it goes as Sasha Shine Bright. There are just dots in between the names. So, like, yeah, this is the easiest way to connect with me. But also, I have a lot of free materials on my YouTube channel. So, you could just go there and watch some more and see how things unfold. Like, do you resonate or not? And, like, yeah, just learn something about yourself. There is a video instruction how to calculate your chart, for example. Yeah, and YouTube channel is called Shine from Within. Or like it's also there is a link in Instagram. So I think from the name, it's the easiest way to find me in Instagram, and then all the links there can be unfolded.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, Ajay. It was such a pleasure. Thank you. And you're an amazing host. Thank you very much.
Thank you.